Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. It's quite a weekend. We had the birthday of the United States Army and a big parade. Pretty neat parade showing all the different eras and the different uniforms covering 250 years. Pretty cool. Also happened to be Trump's birthday. Also happened to be Flag Day. Not quite as big of a deal, but it was Flag Day. And today is Father's Day. So there's all kinds of interesting uh, stuff happening. And as usual, the mentally ill TDS sufferers on the left and Democrats have proved yet again that not only are they disgusting assholes, I mean pure assholes, but they're also ignorant and dumb as a stump. No more king. So first of all, they just couldn't let the army have its birthday, have its parade, just for one day to respect the men and women in the army, have their parade, and it was a very interesting parade, and they just couldn't have a day. Couldn't have a day without the bullshit. No, they had to come out with the hate. And as always, the hate coupled with the stupidity. So, the hate is, as I said, just their unhinged nastiness and just trying to squash something good with something just rude and stupid. I mean, that's the part of being an asshole. You could, if you don't like someone, say like there's someone at work, say like you work with someone and you don't like them at all, and it's their birthday, all right, and everybody at work saying happy birthday. You just kind of, be a professional, and if you don't want to say happy birthday, that's fine, but don't run into the middle of the birthday celebration and start saying this guy's an asshole. I mean, that's just let them have their day. It's not everybody deserves but no, see, the left can't do that. They have to be assholes. And here's where the stupidity comes in. No more kings. What the fuck? To say that Trump is a king is just stupid. Hell, the court keeps the corrupt courts keep stopping. If he was king, he'd do whatever he wanted. He's obviously not a king. I mean, he keeps going to Congress to get this, that, and the other thing done. And he does do some executive orders, but far less than other presidents have. So what's the king thing? It doesn't even, you know what? Remember hands up, don't shoot? Remember that? When that little punk ass hoodlum got caught? And the Democrats invented this totally fake story. Hands up, don't shoot. They tried to make it sound like the kid who got shot had put his hands up and said, please don't shoot, please don't shoot. And of course, the mean, racist white cop shot him anyway because he's black. And it turns out that it was a giant lie. The kid never put his hands up. The kid never put his hands up and said, don't shoot. What he did is he reached into the police car and actually tried to grab the cop's gun. And this is a little while after he had just robbed the store. And you reach in and you try and grab a cop's gun, of course you're going to get shot. No matter what color you are. But so this, of course, the Democrats lie and they make up lies and they make up stories. You know why they make up lies and stories? It's because they have no actual facts. They have no actual factual good things to say, so they have to make up lies. And so the same thing with this no kings thing. It doesn't even mean anything. No kings. No more kings. No more kings? Who was the first king? The last person who tried to be a king was a Democrat. I think it was Franklin Roosevelt who tried to stack he did stack. He stacked the Supreme Court and he ran for 4 terms. I love these guys who go insane like Bill Maher, thinking that Trump's actually trying to get a 3rd term, and And yet they have big statues to Roosevelt, who had like 4 terms, and he stacked the Supreme Court. But that dude was like a dictator. And during wartime, you have massive powers. Anyway, I digress. So, as usual, it's just the stupidity. But, this weekend, it was just ignorance and stupidity and being an asshole. But in reality, it is actually far, far worse than that. And I'm not going to regurgitate my previous videos. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Democrats are a terrorist organization guilty of crimes against humanity, and the Democrat Party must be eradicated and made illegal. I will put a link to that in the description of this video, so you have to watch that. Really, I just, no matter which way you look with these Democrats, it's just insane. Whether they're sexualizing the kids in school with their groomers, whether they're out acting like terrorists. I mean, these last few days, it's been the terrorizing in the LA and other cities, trying to defend illegal foreigners who were and before that they were burning down Tesla factories, all because Elon Musk exposed their corruption. And prior to that, they were burning down cities, their Antifa and their BLM. This is their behavior. They have all these groups that burn down cities and commit violence. And the Democrats started that with the KKK. Throughout the entire history of the United States, the Democrats have been the party of violence and hates and violent groups that go out and commit hateful crimes and strike terror into the hearts of many people. It's a terrorist organization. So not so much terrorism this weekend, but certainly sheer stupidity and ignorance. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, back at the White House, Trump is systematically fixing and repairing everything that senile Biden broke. And he is making America great again. Remember all the crying about the tariffs? Man, ever since then, now all of a sudden the media is quiet. Why? Because all kinds of great deals are coming in from all kinds of countries. Millions and billions and even trillions of dollars being invested in the United States. Countries are dropping their tariffs. Trump's tariffs worked. And they have to be judged on an individual case basis with each country and how they've reacted. Some countries just full on just dropped all their tariffs, and so Trump dropped his. So in those cases, that worked. Other countries have committed to billions of dollars of investments, like Japan, for example, and some others. And so that was a sort of a different victory, but still a victory. Now there's one or two holdouts, and that's okay because they'll have the tariffs on them and we'll get the income from it, and that's okay too. It's a win-win. So Trump's winning. He sealed the border as promised. He's deporting the illegal aliens as promised. His tariffs worked as promised. Jobs are coming back to America. He's making America great. The left and the Democrats. Well, first of all, the average leftist Democrat in the street is a mentally ill idiot. They're mentally ill because they spew out, they just rage and hate for no reason. And they're an idiot because all the reasons that they claim they don't like Trump are not even true. It's all just made up bullshit. Some of them still hold on to the whole Russia thing. And that has been a disproven. There was no Russian collusion. There's people who still hang on to that. And so look, here's the bottom line. These sick, mentally ill Democrats, as I have said before, are the enemies of America. I'm not goofing around anymore. They are literally the enemies of America, they have come to the brink of destroying every aspect of American society. I mentioned that in a personal video I made. That was personal. I guess I'll put a link to it in here, but just as long as you bear in mind that that's more of a personal message than anything. But really, I mean, whether it's college campuses where people now embrace socialism and Marxism, whether it's schools where they groom and sexualize little children, and now kids don't even know what a woman. They don't even. Democrats don't even know what a woman is. The kids don't even know what pronoun. They have kids all discombobulated. Trannies actually commit suicide, but see, the Democrats don't care about that because having trannies furthers their agenda. And the destruction of marriage. I mean, the destruction and all the economy stuff. I mean, all the what else? Just general patriotism. You can't even find a kid these days who calls himself a patriot. Thank God for the people who have signed up for the military. Apparently, the military has exceeded its recruitment goals. Now, I don't know what that means. I mean, it sounds good, but I hope that's not because they lowered their goals so far that it was easy to exceed them, and that it's actually really bad. And that's a possibility. I mean, I don't know what recruitment goals are these days compared to like when Reagan was president. I'm going to guess they're far lower now than they were. But what do I know? I don't know. But yeah, these people are just unacceptable. And so I'll say it again. I'll say it again. For a myriad reasons, the Democrats are a terrorist organization. They are the enemy within, just like Trump said. And just like Germany declared the Nazi Party to be illegal, we need to declare the Democrat Party to be illegal because they've just gone too far. I mean, crimes against humanity. We'll start with slavery, and we'll start with a civil war to keep slavery illegal. We can move on to KKK and to terrorist organization. And today, all their different little terrorist groups that they have burning down cities and everything. The sexualization of children in schools, that's a crime against humanity, in my opinion. Children, and I mean little children. Not that doing it in high school is any better, but little children, that's I made the case that that's actually pedophilia, a pedophile act, and here's just briefly, I'll say why. They have this thing called phone sex that a lot of people make fun of. You call in and some kind of 888 something number, and you have phone sex, right? People call it sex. Now they're not touching each other; they're just talking, but they call it phone sex. It's sexual content, sexual whatever. A lot of heavy breathing, I guess, something, I don't know. But they call it phone sex, right? This means, I assume that this means that sexual contact or sexual interaction, let's say sexual interaction, sexual content, does not necessarily have to be physical, correct? So if these sick, perverted teachers are mentally or verbally engaging children with sexual content, sexual lifestyles, and bear in mind, we're not talking about teaching children about reproduction and the biology. That's one thing. Biology, talking about sperm cells in an egg and how all that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about actual sexual lifestyles and what most religious people, Muslim, Christian, or whatever, would consider to be sick, degenerate, evil sexual lifestyles. The teachers are bombarding the kids with this, talking about it, drawing them in And I don't mean drawing them in physically, I mean, but drawing them into appreciating the lifestyle. That's sexual interaction. Again, like the phone sex, it's not physical, but it's an interaction. So if phone sex is sex, then this is sex, and it's pedophilia. So that's another reason why the Democrats are crime against humanity. Need I go into abortion? How many millions, billions of babies have been murdered? Innocent human beings murdered because the Democrats made it legal and keep it legal. And just because we won at the Supreme Court doesn't really mean a lot. It just takes it back down to the states. And so there's some good states that have made it illegal, but there's some bad states that still allow innocent human beings to be murdered. So Democrats are, they've murdered so many people, it would make Hitler blush. Oh, and let's talk about comparative policies to Hitler. Taking away guns like Hitler did. Squashing free speech like Hitler did. And also Stalin too. I mentioned abortion, right? Hitler killed 6 million Jews. The Democrats have murdered billions of babies. Unnecessary wars. How about that? Squashing free speech. Let's not forget all the times that the Democrats, like true Nazis, arrested people and canceled people strictly for free speech, whether they were expressing their opinions about COVID and COVID policies. Gavin Newsom literally arrested people for that. If you think like I do that the 2020 election was stolen, you were canceled. Your social media was canceled and revoked. They even did it to Trump, right? What else? There was another one. Oh, remember even little things that people have probably forgotten about. But remember, somebody made sort of a funny video, like a comical video of like Muslim terrorists and Allah, and it was like some stupid internet video. It was like a little funny, but the Muslims got all offended and stuff. Remember when the Obama administration literally placed that man under arrest just for making a funny video? See, people forget shit like that. But the Democrats are anti-free speech. That's one amendment to they're anti-gun. I mean, they're anti-ban. They are criminals. But this weekend, really what they were more than anything were ignorant, stupid assholes. Stupid because No More Kings is just as stupid as Hands Up, Don't Shoot. It's a fantasy, like Russia collusion. It doesn't even, he's not a king. It's just stupid. And being assholes because they did it on the birthday of the army when they were having a nice celebration, and they couldn't just have one day of coming together. You know, they'll never do that again because they are the enemies. They are the enemy within. And that's a fact. Anyway, that's it for today. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day 2025. I got the hiccups. Happy Father's Day 2025. Happy birthday to the Army. Please see the links that I put in the description of this video. And I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.